Two pairs of trainers, both women's, both are mid-size, both priced from the same dataset on the same day. One is a New Balance 992 in poor condition, creased, scuffed, visibly finished. The other is a Nike Air Force One that has never been worn, tag still on it. The worn-out pair is worth more. £67.50 against £62.50, 8% more for the battered one. It's not a rounding error, and it is not a quirk of one shoe. It is what the numbers do when you stop pricing trainers by the badge on them and start pricing them by which shoe they actually are. First, why trainers? Of the 103 categories in the dataset, women's trainers and men's trainers are the two largest, 5,620 prices and 5,438, 11,058 between them. And the depth is not just volume. Trainers carry 247 named models and 8,878 model level prices, nearly 3/4 of every model price in the whole dataset. If you want to test whether the model matters more than the brand, this is the only corner of the market with enough detail to ask. The baseline. A trainer in good condition has a median value of £39. The typical item across the whole dataset is £18.50. So trainers run a bit over twice the ordinary second-hand thing. Everything from here uses the good condition band unless I say otherwise, because that is the state that most trainers are actually in when they change hands, and these are researched UK second-hand prices. Now the ladder. Most people carry one of these around in their head, and it goes roughly like Nike at the top, Adidas just behind, everyone else somewhere below. Here is what the data says instead. Jordan, £83.25, New Balance, £63.75, Nike, £45, Adidas, £37. Nike is third. The brand with the largest presence in the dataset, 136 price rows across 22 models, sits below a running brand best known for about 15 years for being unfashionable. But hold on to the actual size of that ladder, because it matters more than the order. The whole distance between Nike and Adidas, the rivalry the entire industry is organised around, is £8. Now put one brand under the microscope. These are Nike's own models, in the same condition band on the same day. A Vaporfly 3 runs £111, an Air Max 95, £60, an Air Max 90, £31.75, and the Air Force One, probably the most recognisable shoe on the British High Street, £26.70 across sizes. So here is the thing that the badge cannot explain. Inside Nike, the range is 4.1 times wide. Between Nike and Adidas, it is £8. The brand is the label on the shoe, the model is the price. And this is not a Nike problem. Across all 247 named trainer models, 114 of them, 46%, sit below the £39 median. Only 49 reach £100. So if the model is what carries the value, which models are they? Here is the top of the mainstream market. New Balance 992, £129.50. Nike Vaporfly 3, £111. New Balance 991, £103 and 75 pence. The 993, £99 and 38 pence. Adidas Adizero Adidas Pro 3 is £75. Every one of those is a running shoe, and the pattern repeats at the brand level, in the brands that never really left running. Salomon is £67.75, On Running is £65, Hoka is £47.50, and Asics is £41.38. Which is a strange result if you think resale value is about status, and a fairly ordinary one if you think it is about how many other people already own the same shoe. Because here is the bottom. Not obscure shoes, there are 6 silhouettes a British teenager could identify from across a car park. Stan Smith, £19, Vans £19.50, Converse £24, Air Force One £26.75, Gazelle £28.25, and an Adidas Superstar at £33.75. All 6 are below the median trainer. Every single one, the shoes with the highest recognition in the country, are, as a group, the cheapest things in the category to buy second-hand. And beneath them is a floor, which most brands that once owned the high street, Reebok £14.50, Fila £15, Skechers £16.50, Supercar £8.38, and Elise £7. Now the honest caveat. This dataset holds prices, it doesn't hold production volumes, so it cannot tell you why any of this happens. What it can tell you is the shape, and the shape is consistent all the way down. The more universally a shoe is owned, the less the second-hand market wants it. Recognition and scarcity feel like the same thing when you stood in a shop. In the resale numbers, they pull in opposite directions, and only one of them ends up in the price. There is one more layer, and it complicates something we found earlier on in this channel. Across the market as a whole, condition costs roughly the same as percentages everywhere. At model level, inside trainers, this is not quite true. A New Balance 992 in good condition keeps 68% of its new value, an Air Force One keeps 48%, a Stan Smith keeps 40%. And at the bottom rung, the gap triples. Worn to poor condition, and 992 still holds 33% of what it costs new. A Stan Smith holds 10%. The same amount of wear takes a very different amount of money off, depending entirely on which shoe it happened to. Where this gets a little thin, and I would rather say it than have you find it, coverage is not symmetrical across the two categories. The Air Force One, the Samba, and the Stan Smith are held under women's trainers, the Vaporfly and the Air Jordan 4 under men's. A model held in one category rests on the 4 pricing rows per condition band. So treat any single model figure as indicative rather than heavily sampled. The brand level numbers, sitting on 30 to 130 rows each, are the sturdier ones, and they point the same way. Finally, the tail, because it exists and it is small. Louis Vuitton has the highest brand median in the category at £390.25. The LV trainer is the single highest valued model we hold at £451. Golden Goose sits at £169.50. And there is a small joke buried in that last one. The Golden Goose Superstar is sold new in a deliberately distressed finish, scuffed and marked on purpose in the box. New with tags, £309.25. In good condition, £195. In poor condition, £78. A shoe designed to look already ruined still loses 2/3 of its value by being actually ruined. So the thing to take from the 11,058 trainer prices is not the one brand beats the other. It is that the badge is doing far less work than everyone assumes. 2 shoes from the same factory, the same brand, and the same year can sit 4 times apart. And the one that everybody owns is the one at the bottom. Which leaves a fairly uncomfortable question. When you buy the most popular shoe in the country, what exactly is the market pricing? The shoe, or how alone you are in wanting it? If you want the research price for a specific pair, the trainer tool is linked below.